Okay, so Winter Field Day. People know Winter Field Day. It's history. Orion arranged. You were part of the arrangements of it, I think.
Brian and I.
Brian and Orion. We have results.
We don't have results.
We don't have.
I have a breakdown of everything.
We have. Okay. So, with a summary of Winter Field Day, here's Orion.
Thanks, Greg. So, all right. So Winter Field Day was January 24th and 25th this year. And yes, it was a bit damp. Didn't rain. It was just a little dew. But we had a great time out there. This is the cleanup crew. So we'll start from the back and work our way from the front. How's that sound? All right, well, we set down some goals and objectives for this event. We decided we were going to have a lot of fun working with our fellow hams in a kind of semi-competitive way. And we were hoping to be in the top 10 of the 4 Oscar category. So in Winter Field Day, the number 4 means how many stations you're going to operate. And then the Oscar is that we're going to be outdoors. The other option is at home or indoors, and they have different classifications. By the way, the outdoor category is the one that gets the most logs submitted, so it's definitely the most competitive of the group. We also decided we were going to have a few objectives. We were going to have a Friday potluck, and we have a hosted breakfast by our president, AI6US, Brian over here. We have a pizza night on Saturday night, and we wanted to have a social tent with some potluck snacks and campfire. We also wanted to have claim a score of 30,000 points, and we wanted to run 4 stations, all 24 hours, and hopefully get at least 300 QSOs and 30 multipliers. If you calculate that out, that'll get you just above 30,000 points. And make 1 satellite contact. By the way, these are the very similar goals as we had last year. And you'll look at the end, we'll see kind of a comparison how we did compared to last year. So I thought this year, instead of just giving you a bunch of numbers like I did last year, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about how we set it up this year. Starting with the antennas, we had 2 80-meter dipoles, doublets, or as some people call them, center-fed ZEPs. We also had a 160-meter end-fed. And then we had Brian's hex beam. The hex beam runs on 20, 15, and 10 meters. We put a triplexer on there, so theoretically, 3 of the 4 stations can all be transmitting off that one antenna. And we installed them this way. Over here in the upper right-hand corner, north is that way, which is sort of north. How many feet is that, Brian? I don't know, 200 or 300 feet, 400 feet?
350 at least.
Yeah, and we mounted an 80-meter doublet there, and about 90 feet, I would say. Is that about right? Okay, I was guessing, so just tell me if these are wrong.
Maybe 200 feet high.
200? Okay. The second 80-meter doublet ran across here at about 75 feet. Then we had the 160. Can everybody see that? The 160 ran parallel to the runway, about 35, 40 feet. Wasn't that high. And then we had the hex beam out here. This is what our shack looked like, and we were prepared for the rain, or at least so we thought, and we mounted a tarp over the top of it to try to keep most of the rain and shed it from the tarps. Our shack has a campfire. We have a social tent, which is that part of the shack, and then we have 4 operating stations in the back part, and we have a breakfast kitchen under the tarp back over there, and then Bruce was all the way on the other side with his satellite station. And there we have Michelle and Jacob enjoying the campfire. And as you can imagine, our social tent is well stocked. Yes, the Jameson, I thought that would catch your attention, at least it did mine anyway. Our 4 operating stations are all together in the tent, 1 on the end. This was station 1, and we had 2, 3, and then you guys are sitting where number 4 would have been. Station 1 was our primary single sideband, meaning the hot band goes to this station, and it's Brian's Flex 6300, if I recall correctly. And here we have Aaron and his dad work in the station. Station number 2 is CW and the secondary sideband, meaning if 40 meters is hot and 80 meters is working, the number 2 station for single sideband gets 80. But if you're working CW, you can work 40 meters as well. And we can see Earl here is pounding out some contacts. Looks like he's well into it. The 3rd station was the digital station. And here's Roy figuring out the wonderful worlds of digital. We also have our server running right here. And you can see all the band filters. So as people switched around from band to band, I grab a filter and let me back up here real quick. I thought this was ingenious. It was Brian's idea. All the feed lines come into one corner of the tent over here. So if you wanted to switch your station from 20 to 40 meters, you grab a band filter, you just grab your lead that's running up to here, you put the band filter on it, and you hook it to one of the antennas. So it was really nice. He also had the triplexer right behind Aaron down on the ground with the band filters already attached, so we weren't going to have any issues of people accidentally not including a band filter on the triplexer. So it was all set up, it was just a matter of grabbing a cable, unconnect one, connect another one. So I thought that was a very ingenious system. And our 4th station was the VHF one. This one was kind of a limbo station. Here we have Aaron out by his trailer, and they're showing somebody, I don't remember who this is. Do you remember?
These were some guests from Orville or somewhere.
They were guests from Orville? Yeah, so we got them working.
A new operator, wasn't he? Just very on fire for ham radio.
Him and Dad, the top guy's his dad.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's getting out there and operating and showing them how to use it. So why I say limbo is it took Gary a little while to get his parabolic, what is it called? It's called a log periodic antenna put together. So while he was doing that, we were running the other station. And here's Bruce with his satellite station. And Bruce did actually make a contact.
Bruce.
Yes, Bruce. So if we have time, we'll throw the mic to him to give us a blow by blow.
Bruce, it works better if you handheld it.
In the rain, yes.
This thing is really cool. It tracks the satellite. He just programs it into his computer. It tracks the satellite and follows it right through the whole pass. And here's our breakfast tent. And of course we had a little rain, so here's our power plant. We had a couple generators out there, we pulled a tarp over it. So we were ready for the rain.
Courtesy of generators.
Oh, by the way, yeah, the generators are loaned by Jeff, AK60K. So any club event, he loans them to us. So that was very generous of him. And here is what our site looks like from the air. K68. What is
ADT.
ADT? Al. Came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to go flying?" I said, "Sure, sounds like fun." And he hands me the keys to the plane. He said, "I want to grab my camera and go fly around." So I was flying around while he was snapping these pictures here. That was a lot of fun.
Dustin, didn't you go up in Scott's plane?
Yeah, you went up in Scott's plane. I envy you because I really want to go up in that
landed
one.
in a field?
Yeah, then we decided to skip the runway.
Yeah, so he's got a carbon cub with the Tundra wheels on it, so he can land and fly through
And
anything.
luckily Dustin brought a change of underwear.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I trust the shot.
Yeah, Scott, I think, has plenty of experience. So, how did we do? Well, this year we had 51 participants show up for the event, 28 members, 23 visitors, and we had 8 campers or RVers for the weekend. Compare that to last year, we had 28 participants, 22 members, 6 visitors, and 5 campers. So a great turnout. What was interesting is a great turnout from visitors. And I think it has a lot to do with Scott's Craigslist. There was a gal from Jessup, William Jessup there, working on her entrepreneurial MBA and asking everybody a bunch of questions about her project. So very good turnout, And it seemed like everybody had a great time. We ran 3 stations for 24 hours. The digital station, I think, the digital station got left orphaned throughout the night because there wasn't enough people. But we pretty much had 3 stations running 24/7 or 24 hours. Campfire was going great. Had a great time until it rained. So the campfire was done, and more snacks than you could possibly eat. So what did it look like Well, we operate 24 hours. Our average queue rate was 19 QSOs per hour. We made 381 contacts, and we had 16 multipliers, and our claimed score is 21,808 points. Didn't quite make the 30, but pretty darn close. The big clinkers are, if you look here, we bettered our multipliers by 10, and we ended up with 8,000 more points for the year.
So why are multipliers important? How do we get multipliers in this contest versus summer field?
Okay, that's a very good question. This is a little different. A lot of contests, you get a multiplier for making contact with a state or getting a contact with an ARRL section or something. In this contest, you make a multiplier by making a contact on a band and a mode. So if you are on 2 meters and you make a CW contact, that's one multiplier. You make a sideband contact, that's the second multiplier. And if you make a digital contact, that's the third multiplier. So the point is, or what they're trying to get you to do is get as many bands working and as many modes as you can working. And you can do 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, 10, 2, 70 meters. Actually, you can do 1.25 centimeters, 70 centimeters. That's 1.25 meters, 70 centimeters, 400, 900, and 1.2 gigahertz. So there are a lot of possible multipliers out there. This year we had 17 operators. We contacted 63 ARRL sections, and we hit 48 of the 58, I think, total states and provinces, 6 countries, and continents. So looking at compared to last year, not quite as good as last year. And I think that has a lot to do with the number of contacts, and we'll see that here in a little bit. Our contacts are way down, but our multipliers are way up. So looking at how the score gets calculated, you have CW, you get 2 points for every CW. You get 1 point for every phone, 2 for digital. Then, because we are running on generators, we get because we're below 100 watts, we get a two-time multiplier. We multiply it by 16, and then we add on our 6,000 points, and that's how we came up with our claimed score. If you look at last year, our claimed score was 13,600. And again, the big thing is the multipliers. If you look here, we had 761 contacts. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Yes, 761 QSO points last year.
2029, we're going to have that many? Wow, this guy's predicting.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so the big improvement this year is that we hit a lot more multipliers. So that's a good thing. And if I'm going too fast, tell me to stop. I'm obviously going slow enough. Bonus points. You get 1,500 points for no commercial power. You get another 1,500 points if you're outside. You get another 1,500 points if you aren't at home. And then you get another 1,500 points if you make a satellite contact. So as you can see, the big winner this year is Bruce with our 1 satellite contact. By the way, you're only allowed 1 contact. So you can only get 1,500 points. But that's the coup de grace this year, was getting that satellite. So we got a clean sweep in our bonus points. Looking at our queues, that's QSOs or contacts, by mode. So this year we had 268 versus our 537 last year. So it's kind of interesting. You look at, we pretty much had double the single sideband contacts, but we didn't quite make the points. And the multipliers are the key in this contest. CW was 90, and digital we had 23. So we did much better in CW, but we didn't do so well in the digital, and that was basically because the digital station didn't run all 24 hours, and that's Scott's fault for not showing up this year. I'm sure glad you showed up, because I could point.
I'm gonna catch out.
I mean, you look at it, he pretty much single-handedly did all 99 last year, so he had a value, and you figure those are times 2, so that's 198 points. So he really brought it in last year.
We have Bob.
Ryan, question?
Yes, sir.
The digital, is that FTA, ready, or?
No FT8, only, they in the rules specifically say no FTA. because they don't believe it has what's required for the exchange. It does, but it doesn't. Anyway, it's just one of those things. But it's RIDI, it's PSK 31, JS8 call could be used, anything that can be conversational in nature as far as a digital mode is concerned. So that just exchanging call signs and grid squares isn't gonna cut it for them. All right, this one is looking at the QSOs by band, and we get 160, and you can see here we pretty much hit almost all the major bands. So we did a really good job, and these are all contribute to the multipliers.
Thank you, Wayne.
You look at last year, with all these zeros here, and that's the reason why we didn't do so well last year as far as points are concerned. Last year was a very successful year, but point-wise, we didn't put it in the right spot. That was just simply because Brian and I didn't read the rules.
But it was fun.
It was fun, but we didn't read the rules and didn't understand what we were doing. This year I thought, hey, let's see what the stations are doing. And if you get the N3FJP software, it all calculates that for you. So in this case, oops, sorry about that. Our single sideband station is the king again this year. And this year the CW station is queen, thanks to Dennis and Earl. You guys banged out a lot of contacts. And then we have our digital station and then our UHF station. And last year we didn't run a UHF station, so that's why there's a 0 there. This is all the bands by mode, and I highlighted the zeros because those zeros indicate missed multipliers. So there's quite a few multipliers, and I think in this case right here, and especially over here in the digital, we missed a lot of opportunities for multipliers. And this one known one up here, that's all thanks to Dustin. He only made one contact in the entire contest, but it was a big one. So here are operators, all 16 or 17 of them, and how they did. These are where the multipliers that they earned, and the way I figured it out is if you made the first contact on that band at that mode, you got credit for that multiplier. But Aaron, he's got 107 Qs. We got Brian here with 70. Dennis, how long did it take you? An hour to get those? 2 hours? Yeah. And we whacked out, and those were all CW. You can see right there, all CW. So he contributed heavily to the contest. So, you know, I'm feeling a little left out, not present anymore. I'm not the center of attention anymore, and I only got 8 contacts. So I had to figure out a way to make myself at the top of the list. So here's what I thought, you know, Qs are the great thing, but really the important thing here is multipliers, right? What if we take a look at the operators and their contribution based on multipliers, and guess what? Yeah, there it is. I'm at the top. And they only made 8 contacts. They were digital contacts, but because of the multipliers, it really has a big effect on the overall score. Aaron, he got 3 multipliers. And you got Bruce. I mean, he's 4th biggest operator. He makes 4 contacts because he nails the bonus point. So that's kind of how it lands. And like I said, Dustin only made 1 contact, but it was a good one. It was a multiplier. So there are no results yet. So how do I compare this to last year? So what I decided to do was look at last year's scores and compare our score this year against what was published last year. So this year with claimed points of 21,808, looking at last year's rankings overall, meaning all the indoor, all the home, all across the United States, we would have ranked 8th last year. We ranked 34th last year, actually. Looking at the outdoor category only, we ranked 20th last year. That score should have given us an 8th place last year. Looking at the 4.0 ranking, we didn't do 4 Oscar. So I assumed, hey, let's take my 3 Oscar and apply it towards a 4 Oscar. We would have been third, and we would have been third again this year. No change. And same thing with 3 Oscar. We were 9th last year, and in the Sacramento section, we are the top group. So that's the rankings. So if this holds true, we should land pretty darn close to those rankings. What's that?
You get a rain multiplier?
No. There's guys in Michigan and Minnesota that are out on lake beds, so, you know, last year we had 70 degrees and shorts and t-shirts, and this year I think we're paying the price. Let's see, I think that's all I wanted to say about this slide. So how did we do on our goals? Did we have a lot of fun? I think so. What do you guys think? All right, so we got that one. Did we finish in the top 10 before Oscar? Maybe. We don't have results yet, but it looks like that's going to be a promising one. Friday night potluck, hosted breakfast, all those came off without a hitch, and I think we had a great time with that as well. Did we claim a score of 30,000? No, that ain't gonna happen. Did we operate all 4 stations? No, we only got 3. And we made 300 QSOs, didn't make the 20 multipliers. We left those on the table, I think, but we can, we'll do better next year. And do we make our satellite contact? Absolutely. Some lesson learned. I like the good, bad, and ugly scenario. Good is it went well and we should continue doing it. Bad is it went bad and we should never do it again. And ugly means we could have done a lot better. So some of the good things, I think we had massive club support. There were a lot of you that showed up just to help us put this thing up and take it down, and then hang out around for a while. So that we had, Jim, WA8MBA was one of those folks, Ken, K6, KEC, and I know him, Mike, KK6GLP. Some of you came up on Sunday knowing full well you're probably going to get rained on, so we definitely appreciate it and thank you very much. Location, again, the Georgetown Airport is, I think, one of the better places for what we do here. Awesome turnout. We had great club turnout and we had great community turnout. I think marketing effort was wonderful in this job, and so thanks Scott for getting the Craigslist items out there. Almost as many visitors as people showed up from our club, so that's pretty good. The bad, rain on Saturday. We need to harden our structures. There was a point at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 7 o'clock? Yeah, where it could have been pretty ugly. The wind came up and, Chip and I, the wind came up and all of a sudden we're like, hey, what's this up here? Ooh, there's water ponding here. And we're pushing it, and all of a sudden it rolls over onto Gary's side. He's pushing it. It was close. We could have had some serious issues there. So, and then ugly, we missed a lot of low-hanging fruit in multipliers. I want to put out some thank yous out there. First one is Scott, KK7AIR. First of all, he got the site reserved for us. Okay, and you think that's a pretty good thing. It's a campground that hardly gets ever used. So he goes and asks the county if we can use it. We can, but he doesn't stop there. He entices the county to put toilet paper and clean the bathrooms up for us. And then he shows up with the biggest mulcher thing I've ever seen and grinds out all the berry bushes. So when we bring antennas up, we're not getting stuck by the berry bushes. He even brings out his crew and they lay gravel so that we don't have to drive through the mud. The guy was just like rolling out the red carpet. And then of course he did his annual hangar tours. He's got antique movie cameras in there. Of course, you get a look at all of his airplanes. Some of you even said he took you back into his company and showed you what he does for his company. It's phenomenal. And I'm not going to tell you any more about it because next year you're going to show up and he'll tell you all about it. Again, thank you to the cleanup crew and the setup crew. Thanks to Brian and Lynn for hosting the breakfast. And thanks to, I think, Mike, you helped Brian straighten all the tarps and everything out. Check that out. Everything had to be dried. So you guys put a lot of time and effort into this, and we certainly thank you for it. And that is water coming off the tarp and putting it away. All right, and Winter Field Day next year, January 30th, 31st. Any questions?